and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. We're back with everything that's worth the conversation right now. I'm Chinere Igweodu.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
All right, we head straight into our new super segment, but not without first inviting you to be a part of our community and have a say in what we say. We are at Enterprise TV 7 across all social media. You may subscribe, comment, like, and share. You may also log on to our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Our guest for this segment is the man I love to call the scholar's scholar. He's a man of forensic brilliance, Barrister Evans Ufeli. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the compliment.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for coming. All right, let's head straight to see what the Vanguard has for us this morning. I'll begin with this story. Rivers crisis. 4 Wike loyalists resign as commissioners from Fubara's cabinet.
Yes, and also on the bottom strip of the big story, we have Okuama, over 12 residents trapped in forest die of hunger and sickness.
Great. And the big story here, why power sector crisis won't end soon by electricity workers.
And also on the top strip of the same newspaper, we have hardship as Sanwo-Olu launches a care intervention for 500,000 Lagosians.
All right, let's look at the story. Okuama, over 12 residents trapped in forest die of hunger and sickness. And the writer says, as the governor inaugurates committee to rehabilitate villagers. We saw right that many villagers still missing and we are searching for them. I'll just run through the body of the story for record purpose. More than 12 residents of Okuama, Ewu community in Oheli South local government area of Delta State trapped in the forest since last month in the aftermath of troops' invasion of the riverine settlement over the killing of 17 military officers and men. 17 military officers and men have died of starvation, ill health, and snake bite. To do justice to this morning is Barrister Evans Ufeli. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Some people are saying that the governor setting up a committee is a rather unpunctual, reactive response.
Yes.
What do you have to say to that?
Very unpunctual. You see, what is required is rescue mission first, which was never contemplated. What we heard was this elitist, the governor is trying to get in, he's not able to get in. Soldiers have cordoned off the place. The place has been leveled, burnt down. How about the inhabitants? No one. The inhabitants of that place. In very civilized country, you find the Red Cross.
Right.
You find civil society, where governments are unable to go in immediately. They start to do their jobs. But because the military don't want widespread reportage of the level of incalculable damage they have inflicted on innocent people, they decide to ensure that no one goes in and no one comes out. Now the inhabitants have fled. The surviving ones have fled. They are being, the federal government or the state government have not thought it twice to set up a rescue team, either send the Red Cross or send whoever to rescue them. These are people who habit riverine areas. They may be traveling between bush and another sea. And one of the things about riverine areas you should also know is that it's full of reptiles, snakes and the rest of that, mosquito and so many other hazards. Now, it's over a month and
Right.
that incident took place. And so far, those who habit that place, there's nothing about rescuing everything. Now, this team they set up is about what? The committee that the governor is setting up. It's not even about rescue.
It's about relief.
Yes. So who are you going to take these relief materials to?
And where?
Yes.
In the bush.
Even if you have a relief camp or somewhere you intend to put them, this person you intend to put in these places, do you even know where they are right now? You don't know the status, or you don't know what has happened to them. You don't know where. You just believe that what you should do, having dragged your feet, is to just come and start to set up. I mean, I don't think we're going about this in the right way.
Okay.
You understand? It is even the federal government that will direct this to, because the federal government ought to have do something very swift, because the governor was not let in by the soldiers. So the federal government ought to have created something for the people. But here we're talking about soldiers are taking over the place. No one can go in, no one can come out. those who survive are displaced. You understand? So this is not very, very good.
All right, so let's move on to the big story still on the Vanguard newspaper. Why power sector crisis won't end soon by electricity workers. And the writer here says frequent system collapse caused by technical and other factors. Jenkos, gas shortage, aging, dilapidated machineries, inadequate power evacuation, and so on and so forth. I know we've talked about this so many times. How much of a brief should we hold for these people?
I mean, the thing is, the fact is that I spoke to one of the workers at Ikeja Electrics, and he told me that as I'm talking to him, that they are using generator. They are using generator. So when the body responsible for electricity, when they are using generator, what do you expect? And I learned that the federal government also want to resell the disco. I don't know how true that. I don't know how you can acquire that right when you have sold something. You now take it from the people you sold it to and sell it, and I don't know how that works. But I know because of the TCN, the federal government have a stake in the entire thing. The contract, maybe the contract have a revocation clause. I don't know I've not seen the contract before, but I know that it's not possible to sell something and still own it. Okay, so if they are going to do that, they should do that. You see, if I within Africa, I think Nigeria is the only country, maybe South Africa too, that's still traveling with power supply. Even though
Ghana,
those countries they are largely small in number, the francophone country within Africa they are very small.
Doing well,
yes, but they have constant
power supply. True.
Well, I don't know whether it's the small population or the seriousness or the impact, but by now we should have steady power supply. It should not be what we should be discussing every day. You know, how it won't end, how it will not end soon. That's what they are telling us, and this thing is disturbing. It's disturbing because even if you take down the price of fuel, for example, and you have total blackout, you are still going to be spending more. Because if we now rely on generating set, those generating set will start to pack up.
It's definitely.
You understand? And things like that. So, government should do what it ought to do. This government is doing nothing. This government is doing nothing at all. Because when you talk, they will start to call. They will start to say, but they've done, but they're not doing anything. I've not seen anything this government have done so far, other than to inflict pain on people. So they should go and resolve the problem. It's their responsibility. Or let the states, set up this legal framework for them to start generating. The laws have been given to them. Yeah? So let's decentralize this power thing. Over time, it has shown that even when we were less than 200 million, we could not supply power to ourselves. We could not. One of the factors is centralization of the thing. Now the law says, okay, decentralize it. The states are just talking about each day you wake up, the state will tell you that salary. What they are telling you is that they are not ready to take on social amenities. That's what they will tell you and all that. So
all right. Okay, so let's move on to the next daily. We have is coming from the Daily Trust newspaper, and the big story here says corruption, undue influence, undermining our justice system. That's coming from the CJN.
And the writer goes, Tinubu MBA demand judiciary reforms.
Yes, and the sub-writer here says, Cobb ex parte order abuse Akpabio tells NGN, and politicians not judges to blame, and that's coming from Yadudu.
Okay, let's look at the top street. Zulum to military, established base in Sambisa Forest.
Yes, and also we have it on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, concerns as fuel queues worsen in Abuja, Lagos, and others.
Also on the top street, experts weigh in as FG grounds Dana Air after runway accident.
All right, so let's get to the big story on the Daily Trust newspaper, corruption undue influence undermining our justice system. That's coming from the CGN. Barrister Wilfeli.
Nigeria is a paradox. Nigeria is a paradox. I saw Akpabio when I was talking about it, all of them. The real beneficiaries of the corruption in the judiciary are the ones that want to reform it. It's like the devil casting out the devil. They are the ones talking about how you go to, even the president himself is a beneficiary of the rot in the judiciary. So is that what, they are just paying themselves, you know what they are doing? They are speaking to the West. They are not speaking to us. They are speaking to those coming to do business, optics that were serious about, dealing with corruption in the judiciary and all that. The moment they are through with this, during the election, you see how they will throw caution to the wind. And they will start to manipulate, start to go around making the judiciary impracticable to reform. That's exactly what they are doing. You understand? Of course, this is expected. The country, so that the news will go around that these people want to reform the judiciary. Is it today that started hearing this, that they want to reform the judiciary? So if they are going to reform the judiciary, they should go ahead, but they should not be the ones after building. They should not be the ones to pull down the structures, because that is what they do. And when they say reform is critical, yes. Social justice is critical, yes. But during election, after we allow the process to run without interference, and breakdown of the law and order, we will allow the process to be on merit. Because most of the reforms, the practical reforms we need in this country, is a change of attitude. That is the real reform.
From Nigerians,
yes, a change of attitude. People should change the way they behave. That is the main reform. When you go to the expressway, you see people defecating on the express. That's Nigeria that won't change. Or when people drive across through the traffic, they just beat traffic light. So that is the people that are talking about change. Or what? Or people swindling each other or one another. So the reform we need is to talk about the attitude of the Nigerian and begin to groom the next generation. Begin to groom a campaign. Let's have a campaign for positive behavior. And let's define what positive behavior is. And let's project that if we all key into this in the next 2-3 years, this is where we will be. So it's progress. Then those who will fall short, we take them to the prisons and keep. The ones that are left should behave upright. By the time we begin to rebrand the country, then we are going somewhere. You understand? But the politicians will not allow that to happen. Okay. That is the main problem.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Evans. Let's head straight to the Daily Times. The big story here reads, Tinubu to Judiciary, undertake reforms for functional justice system. And the writer says, much can be achieved when institutions of government unite to acknowledge their challenge and brainstorm.
All right, on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, the Daily Times, that is, we have it. The federal government revokes 924 dormant mining licenses as minister decries racketeering.
Also on the bottom strip, NAF, Nigerian Air Force joint airstrikes eliminates terrorists, destroy hideouts.
And also we have alleged $9.6 billion P&ID scam hearing in EFCC suit against fleeing Britain stalled.
Also, we have federal government addressing root causes of violence extremism, says counter-terrorism boss. But let's stay on the story, Henry. FG revokes 924 dormant mining license as minister decries racketeering. I love our guest, Barrister Evans Sufedi. So quickly, give us some meat as to what the story is really about.
Which of the story?
Federal government revokes 924 dormant mining licenses.
Okay, yes. The mining licenses issued by the federal government, so companies who apply for these licenses have met the requirements, but some of them use it to racketeer. They sell it to other companies in cover, and those companies set up. Some don't even set up. Some use the licenses to do fraud. They use the licenses to go approach bigger companies abroad, elsewhere, get funds from them, and not use it. The federal government is against the abuse where people apply and get it with the intention of not setting up anything.
Okay.
But using the license to go racketeer and all that. That is also the dormant ones. It's not all. Those who are not doing anything, who have not made any attempt, who have not, they don't have a site, they are not planning on building anything. They just have it in their briefcase, walking up and down, looking for white people to show that they have a license to come and invest. That is not bad if the intention is really to bring the company to come and invest. It becomes an offense where it is used, as a tool, as an engine of fraud. So the federal government cannot continue to issue it, because if you take a license, you want to go and approach an investor, they will take that license and want to do a verification. So if they verify and is among the ones that have been revoked, it means they will not invest. Okay, they will not invest. So that's what the federal government is trying to do here. So it's a way of cleaning up that sector to ensure that those who really apply for licenses and obtain it should be able to set up plans and all that. The federal government should do it in such a way that before you apply, show us, your site, where you intend your proposed site, you understand, and what you have done so far to ensure that if you are issued this license today, in the next 1 year, 2 years, you will start up something and all that.
Okay,
they should increase they should make the requirements stiffer.
Okay, so Mr. Evans, speaking of setting up sites, we know how capital intensive these things are, and then looking at the economy overall, don't you think that's also a forestalling factor why people go take license and they can't do much about it?
It is. Yeah, it's part of it, but there are some that intentionally take it not to set up anything, but just to keep. I mean, we know that it's capital intensive. It is not easy. Some sites are built over 6-7 years, even before they commence. You understand?
Right.
And then when you now commence, you now also have to meet up certain regulations, the tax regulations, the environmental regulations, all the regulations and even the post-community regulations. That's if it has to do with the PTA. So these are factors. So it's not a bad thing that the federal government is critical about it. It's not only in Nigeria that they revoke license. License approval is, they are giving you authority.
All right.
And they are not saying once the license is issued, it cannot be revoked. It can be revoked anywhere.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Evans, for doing justice to all of the stories that we looked at today.
Yes. So when we return, federal government grounds Dana Airline after one of its planes overshot the runway in Lagos with 83 passengers on board. That in a beat. When we come back, please don't go anywhere.